Reporting from Jerusalem for EndTimes.com, this is Brian Schrauger. Last Saturday, virtually every synagogue in the world recited a command from God given through Moses about 3,300 years ago. It is a command to both remember and annihilate an enemy of God's people, an enemy that persists to this very day. Recitation of this command happens once a year on Shabbat Zachor, the Shabbat of remembrance, just before Purim. Remember Purim? Purim is the festive holiday celebrating the deliverance of the Jewish people from the threat of genocide 2,500 years ago. Today, it is celebrated with festivities that include costumes, dancing, feasting, and public recitation of an entire book of the Bible in what Judaism calls the Megillah, found in a section of Torah called the Megillot, the writings. Where did that threat of genocide come from? It came from Susa, capital city of the vast Achaemenid Empire. Where is that capital city on today's map? It's in Iran. The threatened genocide 3,300 years ago that would have wiped all Jews from the earth happened during the reign of a ruler by the name of Xerxes, who called himself King of Kings, which he was. He was even one of the pharaohs of Egypt. Jews were part and parcel of his vast empire. More than 100 years before Xerxes came to power, Babylon's king Nebuchadnezzar had invaded Jerusalem, destroyed Solomon's temple, and taken Jews captive to Babylon, located near Baghdad, today's capital city of Iraq. 70 years later, under a new empire called Persia, some Jews returned to Israel, but not all. Many remained. One of them was named Mordecai, whose grandfather Kish was part of the Babylonian captivity, who was taken from the Hebrew tribe of Benjamin in today's Judea and Samaria. According to Jewish tradition, Mordecai's uncle, Avichail, and his wife died at a young age, leaving a daughter by the name of Hadassah. Mordecai became her guardian. As she reached maturity in the bustling capital of the empire, probably as a teenager, she was strikingly beautiful. Regarded by Jews today as a prophet of God, Mordecai clearly had discernment. When Xerxes decided to replace his divorced wife, Vashti, his method for choosing a replacement was to create a special harem. Only the most beautiful women in the empire were recruited to it. One of them was Hadassah. Knowing she had no choice, Mordecai told her not to reveal her Jewish identity. One way she hid it was by adopting the Persian name Esther. As you probably know, this very young woman charmed Xerxes so much, he was compelled to name her as his queen. Sometime after doing so, Xerxes appointed a new prime minister with a name that meant magnificent. He was the male equivalent of Esther. Striking in appearance, his position required those he encountered to bow. Serving in some capacity at the gate to Xerxes' palace, Mordecai refused to bow, enraging the new prime minister, Haman. Mordecai said he would not bow because he was a Jew. In revenge, Haman plotted to kill all the Jews in the world. Arguing to Xerxes that Jews were a rebellious, nefarious population in the empire, he was given authority to carry out his revenge. Acting under the counsel of Mordecai, Esther risked her life by approaching Xerxes without an invitation. Given his favor, she hosted 2 meals with Xerxes and Haman. On the second evening, she revealed her Jewish identity and named Haman as her would-be murderer and destroyer of her people. Exposed, Haman was executed by Xerxes on the same gallows he had just built to hang Mordecai. Jews in the known world were rescued by a decree from Xerxes allowing them to defend themselves on the day appointed for their slaughter, a day that had been drawn by lot, by a tossing of the dice, if you will. Afterward, Mordecai was named the prime minister. Today, the entire book of Esther is read on Purim, a holiday named after the Hebrew word for lot. In synagogues around the world, rowdy Jews howl, hiss, and blow small horns every time Haman is named in the story. God, they are celebrating, is more powerful than the most powerful of men, and he's sovereign even over the chance toss of dice. But that isn't all that Jews remember on Purim. Remember the recitation of God's command through Moses, the one that is read aloud on Shabbat Zachor, the Shabbat of remembrance? That command, that remembrance, is anything but festive. If you are not yet a subscriber to endtimes.com and would like to see all of this important report and others like it, I urge you to subscribe right now at the website endtimes.com. For only $7 a month, you will receive a wealth of information and insight from Jimmy Evans, Mark Hitchcock, and experts from around the world, including Israelis living right here in the Jewish state. Do yourself a favor. Sign up today.